A global outlook, local issues. This is Flash News straight from Poland. I'm Karolina Pańczkowska. Welcome to the show. We start with coronavirus update in Poland. The Ministry of Health does not exclude partial closure of borders or the introduction of regional restrictions. Northern parts of the country are mostly affected by COVID-19.
Over 8,500 new cases of SARS-CoV-2 infections and another day of increases compared to last week. This northern region of Poland is currently hardest hit by new infections. The highest number of new cases per population is in the Warmian-Mazurian voivodeship. In recent days, a record number of cases has been noted in the municipality of Nidzica. Everyone has some fear, well, because infections go up. In Nidzica, all schools and kindergartens were closed. They will be working remotely for the next week with a possible extension to 2 weeks. More than 2,600,000 vaccinations have already been administered nationwide. More than 900,000 people have already received both doses. Despite the increasing number of people vaccinated, the most effective protection against the spread of the virus is still masks, distance and disinfection.
And how the situation looks in Europe? Well, a leading German virologist appealed to authorities in Berlin to loosen lockdown more quickly, according to Hendrik Streck of the University of Bonn. Current government decisions are inconsistent.
According to a German virologist, politicians should not be guided only by the infection rate, but by the reproduction rate of the virus and the number of occupied hospital beds. Meanwhile, the number of coronavirus infections in our western neighbors has increased again. The Robert Koch Institute has reported more than 9,000 new cases. The Czech Ministry of Health will make it mandatory to wear masks with a higher protection class. These will be required in places where people gather. The reason for the new rules is the British strain of the coronavirus spreading in the Czech Republic. The new rules will take effect next Tuesday. Russia has approved a third vaccine in the fight against coronavirus. Sputnik V and Epivac Corona vaccines were previously approved for use. The third vaccine is called Covivac. Authorities expect the first 120,000 doses of Covivac to be delivered in March. About 1 million doses of Covivac are expected to be produced by the end of the year, but there is currently no clinical trial data on its safety and effectiveness. Bad news from Italy. In 2020, the country's culture, entertainment and sports sectors lost an average of 80% of their revenue compared to the previous year due to pandemic-related restrictions.
This is Flash News. Now we focus on international issues. The Moscow City Court rejected the appeal of Alexei Navalny's defenders and upheld the decision of a lower court. This means that Russian oppositionists will spend more than 2 years in a penal colony.
According to the prosecutor's office, the court's decision to reject the appeal was made due to numerous violations of parole rules, which the oppositionists allegedly committed. Before leaving for medical treatment in Germany, Navalny allegedly violated them 7 times. We expected today's decision. We consider it unlawful. Nothing has changed. All the evidence that was in the first instance was still there. The only thing is that earlier the court did not credit 1.5 months of house arrest. Considering how the whole case was handled, the verdict should be acquitting. In addition, after completing treatment in Berlin's Charité clinic, Navalny has not informed authorities of his whereabouts. It is not known exactly when Navalny will be sent to a penal colony. The second hearing in which Alexei Navalny participated concerned alleged defamation of a World War II veteran. The court found Navalny guilty, sentencing the oppositionist to a fine of 850,000 rubles.
Talking about Russia, we need to mention that work on the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline has resumed. In the Baltic Sea, dozen Russian ships are sailing between the island of Rügen and Bornholm. Other ships are waiting. Work as previously stopped due to difficult weather conditions.
Nord Stream spokesman Stefan Ebert is reluctant to reveal how far the work has really moved forward. Earlier this month, there was still a gap of about 120 kilometers in the Danish exclusive economic zone. According to the construction permit issued by the Danish Energy Agency, 115 days were assumed to complete the relevant pipeline work. The Nord Stream 2 schedule has been submitted with a completion date of the end of May. However, construction works may take longer. Russian Gazprom is dependent on good weather and the help of German and European companies to continue construction quickly. However, these companies, one by one, are withdrawing from the pipeline project, not wanting to be on the list of US sanctions, because the US is against the construction of Nord Stream 2. Recently, Democratic and Republican representatives in the US Congress called on the administration of President Joe Biden to provide a list of companies involved in the construction of Nord Stream 2. It is said that there are more than 100 companies on the list.
This is Flash News, and still more to come. Riots continue in Spain after the arrest of Catalan rapper Pablo Hasél. Clashes with police continue for the fourth consecutive night.
Riots spilled from Barcelona to many cities where supporters came to the detainees' defense. The artist was convicted of insulting the King of Spain and the monarchy on the internet and during concerts and praising terrorism of the Basque separatist organization ETA. The UN Human Rights Office is intervening in the case of missing Princess Latifa, one of the daughters of the Emir of Dubai. The organization demanded that the United Arab Emirates give proof that the woman is alive. 3 years ago, the aristocrat tried to flee the country. She was captured. Last year, she sent friends a video saying she was imprisoned. For several months, she has given no signs of life. Facebook's loud dispute with the Australian government. It erupted after the social network blocked media articles in Australia. This was in response to a law that seeks to force internet giants to pay for the distribution of others' publishers' content on their sites. Facebook's move sparked criticism not only in Australia. Similar regulations against companies like Facebook and Google are being considered by Canada and the EU. Heavy rains that hit Jakarta caused flooding and local floods in some neighborhoods of the Indonesian capital. During the night from Friday to Saturday, a total of 1,380 people whose homes were flooded were evacuated. The water level there reached 180 centimeters.
We see big water now. We need to mention about high weather levels in Poland, which threaten many regions. Residents of Plock and Włocławek cannot feel safe. Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki spoke with the head of the Ministry of Interior and Administration about the serious risk of local floods and floodings.
After the cold winter and heavy snowfall, thaw is affecting residents of many regions. High water level still persists on the Vistula. Between Płock and Włocławek, 8 icebreakers are working on clearing the river. We analyze the latest weather forecasts, we analyze the ice situation, we analyze the temperatures and what we've been able to do, also the wind, which is also important. The ice jam near Płock measures 7 kilometers. Despite plus temperatures, icebreakers work in extreme conditions. However, the forecasts are optimistic. If we can crunch it, then the situation will definitely improve. The Institute of Meteorology and Water Management issued hydrological warnings for 5 provinces. A 3rd-degree alert is in effect for the central part of the country on the Vistula River. On the other hand, a 2nd-degree alert is in force in the southwest. Meteorologists warn of rime and dense fog. This will occur in the northern and eastern parts of the country, so the services appeal to drivers to be careful.
And now the world of sport. Polish ski jumpers did not finish the Mixed World Cup competition in Rasnau, Romania. They were ranked 7th.
Maybe we are not the youngest team in the stake, but the least experienced when it comes to mixes, and here I think that this is a learning experience for all of us and for me too. But I am glad, like today was a good training for me, good jumps, maybe not quite perfect yet, but clean, but we fought until the very end. It's great that the girls also did what they could, and they did just as much as was needed. Well, the jumps were okay. I think they were lacking here and there. They weren't that really great jumps, but on a good level. I think that what I came here for, meaning such a stabilization of better jumps, is what I achieved, and I'm going to leave happy. The 7th place in Rasnov was the best performance of the Polish team in the history of their competitions in the Mixed World Cup. The Norwegian team won. The competition in Romania was the last test before the start of the Nordic World Ski Championships this week.
And you know how they say, last but not least, thank you very much for joining us on Flash News. I see you tomorrow, same time, straight from Poland with tvp.info with more news. Goodbye.